Good afternoon, all of you. So, last class we have initiated. I've started the chapter uh, Lost Spring, and this is an excerpt taken from a book known as Stories of Stolen Childhood, written by Anis Jung. Okay, she's a Odia writer, we can say, born in Orissa, and uh, and have brought up in Hyderabad and completed her further studies in abroad. Okay, and she has other achievements. I am asked to mark the line here. The basic objective and basic focus on her writing is she analyzes the grinding poverty and traditions which condemn these children to a life of exploitation. So how they come till the exploit in the stage of exploitations, and how they face the problem due to the poverty. Okay, this is the main object of the or main theme of the writer. Now coming up towards the something I find a rupee in the garbage. This is one titled here, and another one here. The chapter has been divided into two parts. Another one here, another one here is, yeah, I want to drive a car. Very first part here, it is about very first part here. Sometimes I find a rupee in a garbage. Okay, very first part. Here in the very first part, sometimes I find a rupee in a garbage. Here I told you two characters. Here I told you two characters. That is Saheb and Mukesh. Okay, I informed you Saheb and Mukesh. Here uh, Saheb, okay, comes in this part. Sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. First part of the chapter, and the second part is your Mukesh. Okay, second part that I want, that is written here. I want to drive a car. This is the second part, and this is on Mukesh. Okay, this is on Mukesh. Name is already here mentioned here. Mukesh. Got it? So don't get confused in the beginning. I am informing you here the two characters. That is one Sahib, and that deals with in the part that is very first part. That is sometimes I find a rupee in a garbage. And second one, that is I just want a money. That in that part, that is Mukesh. So let's start with the very first part. The character is Sahib. His full name is Sahib Alam. So here narrator is law is sorry, the writer is Anis Jung. She herself, the writer herself pays her visit. She is then directly a narrator. So she moves. Why do you do this? I ask Sahib, whom I encounter every morning scrounging for gold in the garbage dumps of my neighborhood. Okay, so why do you do this? I ask. Here I refers to our here who is here, our writer, or that is Anisha. Okay, so Anisha is refer in this part. Okay, so I refers to Anisha. I ask. So first, writer meets with the main character. The main character here is Sahib. Okay, so I ask Sahib, whom I encounter every morning, scrounging for gold, moving all around, means moving for searching for gold. Okay, and in the garbage dumps of my neighborhood. So is it possible to get gold in the garbage? So no, it's never possible to get gold in the garbage. So what that this gold refers here? Okay, so in the coming lines, I'll be making it more clear what does gold refer here. So just the garbage, you don't get gold in the garbage. Just have this idea in your mind. So just in the coming lines, in the dumps. So what is making talking here? When whom I encounter every morning for gold in the garbage. So when this boy move comes out every morning in the search for her daily requirements, daily needs in the garbage and garbage dumps of my neighborhood, and whatever they get it, the basic essential things. So here that essential thing has been compared with gold. See, gold is very precious, we don't get easily. So for them, the essential things what they get it for eating other things is like the same, very precious, they don't get it easily, they get it from garbage. So that's why it's compared with gold. I hope I'm able to make you understand why it has gold has been referred here. Sav left his home a long ago. Okay, he left his home long ago. Means for a long time. He has left his home. Means left his home means he's talking about his native place. Set amidst in the mid of green fields of Dhaka. Means they belong to Dhaka. His home is not even a distant memory. It's very far away. It's not in a near place. It's very far away from where he belongs to, where he is now right living. There were many storms that swept away their fields and homes. Okay, so there were many storms that swept away. Were many storms that swept away their fields and homes. They were say as we get natural calamities, due to the natural calamities, they have lost their fields and homes. His mother tells him, his mother refers whom? Here the that Sahib's mother tells him. That's where they left, looking for gold in the big city where he now lives. So he's born in this place. So where he's now living, he belonged to Dhaka. That is that is far away from his place, and this is the information her mother gives, that due to the natural calamities, storms, due to which they are leaving their fields and homes. They are coming here and they are settled. So where they are settled in the periphery or the outskirts of Delhi, that is Simapuri. They have settled in the place known as Simapuri, outskirts of Delhi. Means outskirts of Delhi means the outer part of the Delhi. That's where they left looking for gold. So they left their place because for looking for gold in the big city where he now lives, where he lives in the big city. Delhi is a big city. Okay, and where they are there in the big city, they're searching for gold. Here, what the gold refers, they're able to under their basic needs, and that is too precious. But as in the and disaster situation is there in our India and in the whole world, the pandemic situation, for the poor, they are suffering from the basic needs. A big deal right now, food and living. Okay, and even those don't have the home, there's a big question mark where they live. So similarly, these were the poor people. They have migrated, they have traveled from their own land, and they've settled in Simapuri, Delhi. So now this is a big question mark for them, and this boy Sahib is not aware that, and he was not born before long days they have come in. So let's come to the next paragraph. I have nothing else to do, he mutters, looking away. Okay, he have nothing else to do. So means that is the basic work they're doing. They have to leave, come out of their home, and they start searching for the gold in the dumps. Go to school, I say glibly, means jokingly he said it. He asked it. I say means I refers to the author. Author is asking in a joking manner, realizing immediately how hollow the advice must sound. Okay, how hollow this without any objective means. It does not connect, it does not sound better for this kind of student or this kind of kids who don't have the home to live properly, who don't get proper food. How come they go to school? it does not sound a perfect to these students. There is no school in my neighborhood. The boy replies to the that author, there's no school in my neighborhood. So when they build one, I will go. So that's what this I will go shows that desire of the child, desire of the sahib to go to school. But there was no facility, there was no school in the area, so he's not able to go. If I start a school, will you come? Okay, he is making a question. If I start a school, okay, so when we offer someone, when we ask someone, we want to know the interest. Okay, already I will go. When they will build one, I will go. It's already an interest and he's interested to go. Then the immediately after that narrator is asking, if I start a school, will you come? I asked, half joking. So in a joking manner, there was no seriousness in asking, just a joking manner. We joke with what different people in a different way. Similarly, the narrator joked with this Sahib. Yes, he says, smiling broadly. He was very, very much happy and he gave a smile. Few days later, I see him running up to me. Okay, after a few days, and the narrator was able to see that the boy was very much excited, very much interested, and with that same excitement, he came running towards him. Is your school ready? The boy is asking. Is your school ready? So it was just a bluff by the narrator to the boy, and she is clueless, she is unanswerable. It takes longer to build a school. I say embarrassed, feeling very bad at having made a promise that was not meant, that cannot be fulfilled, and that kind of fake promise what she made it. And she's realizing later on, but promises like mine, okay, try to underline in your textbook, the promises like mine abound in every corner of his bleak world. Okay, of his bleak world. Okay, as he's helpful, poor, poverty boy. Okay, similarly, like this kind of promise, what she make it fake promise. Well, this kind of fake promise, so many will be making in this bleak world. Means bleak means dark, and in this dark world, so many will be making this kind of fake promise. This to this kind of boys, this kind of family status people who will be giving so many fake promises, and the promise will be never fulfilled. So she is thinking what kind of fake promise she made it to this boy. Okay, so after a few months, after months of knowing him, they came in contact. They started knowing that boy, and the boy came and started knowing this Anis Jung, the narrator. Yeah, I asked him his name. So when you're coming in contact with somebody, and after that you ask his or her name. Similarly, the narrator asked his name. Sahib Alam, he announced. What was his name? His name was Sahib Alam. Okay, Sahib Alam. Okay, Sahib A E means a, Sahib Alam. Alam means world. Okay, or universe. Lord of the universe, he announces his name, meaning's name. He does not know what it means. Even this boy, he does not know what his name meaning is. He knew, if he knew its meaning, Lord of the universe, he would have heard time believing it. So see, we say no, name has a implement a name, perfect name. One individual should give a perfect name. Similarly, that name has an impact on one's life. So if you listen, if you know the meaning of his name, that it's totally a contrast. It's a contradict to his life. Name meaning is Lord of the universe, and he's such kind of a boy not get a meal, means a breakfast or a dinner or a lunch, which means perfectly. It's not a bed. He have to move all around in the city to search for it in a garbages. They are not even getting any kind of other work. Means okay, their work is to search, and they will be getting it from there only. So sorry. So he does not know what it means. If he knew its meaning, Lord of the universe, he would have a hard time believing it. It will be very difficult for him to believe. Unaware of what his name represents, he roams the city. Sorry. He roams the streets with his friends and an army of barefoot. So, with the unaware, he is not aware about his name meaning, and he moves. What is their job? They get up early in the morning and they're taking a bag. So, school students go to school. Similarly, these boys taking their bags, garbage bags, and they start to move into the city, means the streets with his friends. An army of barefoot boy who appear like the morning birds. Okay, like the morning birds in the early morning, you'll be able to see the birds are coming up and they start searching for their food. They go here and there in different places, they start searching for the food. Similarly, here they have been compared with the morning birds and disappear at noon. When the noon time comes, it's a hard time, it's a totally sun is above the head, okay, and in that time they disappear. The same way these people also disappears by that time. Over the months I have come to recognize each of them. So by meeting them and slow and steadily, he's able to meet everyone, he's able to know each and everyone in the group. Why aren't you wearing chappals, I asked. Okay, so who is I here? I'll be asking again. Who is I here? Okay, I'll be asking you again. Who is I here? I refers to the narrator. Okay, so I is asking, narrator is asking, why aren't you wearing chappals? What is the reason why you are not wearing chappals? My mother did not bring them down from the shelf. He answers simply in a very simple manner. The boy answers, my mother did not bring chappal from the shelf. That's why he's not wearing it. Okay, so after interacting, after meeting so many days for longer, having building up a relationship, they are able to know each other. And then one day, the narrator is asking. Suddenly, the very first day is not, she is not asking. Okay, and my mother, the answer comes from one of them. My mother did not bring down from the shelf. He answers simply. Even if she did, he will throw them off, adds another. Even she is doing it, but another is saying that he will throw. Who is wearing shoes that does not match? And in the same group, one of them is wearing shoes, but it does not match. It's two opposite. Okay, two opposite, different shoes he is wearing. When I comment on it, okay, when I comment on it, he shuffles his feet, okay, starts moving here and there, changing the position from one place to another, when start hiding one after another leg, okay, so she starts shuffles his feet and says something, I want shoes. Means in that same group, another one is the boy is there who is saying, I want shoes. Says a third boy who has never owned a pair at all his life. And there's in a group another one who never owned a pair of shoes in his whole life. Traveling across the country, I have seen children walking barefoot. Traveling across the country, everywhere in the country they move. In cities, on village roads, everywhere they move. Okay, it is not lack of money, but a tradition to stay barefoot. Okay, so what the explanation they are giving, try to underline, try to in your textbook if you are having near you, immediately underline the statement. It is not lack of money, but a tradition to stay barefoot is one explanation they are giving. Okay, uh, they don't have money, that is not the explanation they're trying to give, but they're trying to give the explanation. It has become a tradition to stay barefoot in this is the explanation that's coming up. Okay, I wonder if this is only excuse to explain a perpetual state of poverty. What we say perpetual poverty, doridrata in Odia. Okay, perpetual state of poverty, one who remain always in the state of poor. Okay, one who remains always the state of poor. Okay, and if this is one excuse to explain, means there one who remains always in state of poor, and they give the explanation what that they give the explanation what what they have made a tradition. So if this one only an excuse to explain a perpetual state of poverty, and this is the only to explain perpetual state of poverty, that seems to be very what is not satisfied what they explains and how they presents it. So what happened, what we are actually, we never show it easily to anyone. So similarly, what they are actually, they are in a perpetual state of poverty. They are not trying to show it. They're just explaining, yeah, this we have made a tradition. The narrator is pointing out how, see, they're showing it. They're trying to hide their state of poverty. Okay, I hope you are able to get me till here. Okay, now comes here. I remember a story a man from Udipi once told me. Okay, now uh, narrator as the writer is thinking after seeing this happening, this disturbance. The narrator is thinking. I remember is able to connect a story. A man from Udipi once told me. From which place? Udipi. Okay, from a man. Story from Udipi. The story is connecting from Udipi. Okay, as a young boy, he would go to school past an old temple where his father was a priest. A boy, small boy, you might have seen that as a small kids go to school. Okay, and one of them, his father, the student, the child who was going to school, from one of them. Okay, the students, those who were going to school, from one of them was his father. Means his father was a priest. To the temple he was visiting. He would stop briefly at the temple and pray for pair of soup. So the boy, what he will do, he'll stop in the temple and he'll pray for the pair of shoe. 30 years later, I visited his town and the temple. For how many years he visited? For 30 years. Sorry. He would stop briefly at the temple and pray for a pair of shoes. 30 years later, I visited his town. Means after 30 years, he visited his town. I visited refers to the narrator. So narrator visited after 30 years the same town. Means which town here? Udipi. And which was now drowned in an air of desolation. Okay, so it was drowned in the air of desolation. Means it was totally changed. It was broken down and changed. In the backyard where lived a new priest, and the old has gone. New priest is there in that place, and there were red and white plastic chairs in that place. What were there? There were red and white plastic chairs. A young boy dressed in gray uniform, and there was a young boy who dressed in a uniform, wearing socks, shoes, arrived panting and threw his bag on a folding bed. Arrived in a running. Okay, as the students school gets over, the students run and come. Similarly, the boy came in a running way, and what happened? The boy came to the house. Okay, so looking at the boy, I remember the prayer. Okay, so now he's looking towards the prayer that another boy who used to do in the temple. Okay, what he used to do, he was just asking for the shoe, a pair of shoe, and now this boy has got it. The priest, their status has changed, and now their kids are able to wear the what shoes here, and right now they are totally safe. Okay, they are totally safe, and they are also getting the what shoes here in these days. A young boy dressed in a gray uniform, wearing socks and shoes, arrived panting through his school bag on a folding bed. Looking at the boy, I remembered the prayer another boy had made to the goddesses. He is able to recall that another boy made the prayer to the goddesses when he had finally got a pair of shoes. Now these boy means he's connecting to the status and saying the priest, their priest boy is able to get it. Let never lose them. Okay, let never lose them. The goddesses had granted his prayer. So let them, he hope that he won't lose the shoes. He won't. So now goddesses have heard the prayer. Now goddesses have listened the means the want the what they were praying to the goddesses, and the goddesses granted the prayer. The young boys, like the son of priest, now wore shoes, but many others, like the rat pickers in my neighborhood, remain shoeless. So underline the statement. Still, the rat pickers, after so many years, after 30 years, the condition of rat pickers, they are still what? The same status. The status has not changed. They're still the same begging condition, moving all around in the cities. Their condition have not changed. This priest, they have developed their status, but the rat pickers, who are rat pickers, they are still in the same stage. See, in the very beginning of the when we started our chapter, and we started reading about what the author started describing the meeting, regular meeting with Sahib. Then we saw he described from where Sahib belonged to his native area, where he belonged to. Okay, and where does he live? He live in a big city. And what was he doing? Okay, he was not going to school as small students used to go. Okay, and their fake promise, importance of his name, what is his name, okay, has been described, what is his name, and what they do in that city, it has been described. Without the chapel, they move here and there in a groups, and what are their conditions. They are in a perpetual state of poverty, but they reveal it as what as there it has become a tradition. And then looking to this, the narrator is able to recall the incident of Udipi. Okay, and now we are going towards the next part, where we'll be able to see the history or the details of these people, how long days they have spent in Delhi, from where they are, and which year they are coming here to Delhi, and why their existence is easy in Delhi, and why they left their native place. My acquaintance with the barefoot rag pickers leads me to Simapuri. Okay, with this acquaintance. So the Simapuri is what? Simapuri is a place where this rag pickers means who collect the rags, the garbages. You might have seen the boys in the roadsides carrying a white color bag, and they collect the bottles, all the waste items, and the waste item, the garbage is see, they see it, they collect it and they keep it in the those big white color bags. Okay, and they will be carrying on their soldier, and they will be moving it. So these people, the Sahib belongs to same area known as Simapur, a place on the periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it. Underline the statement here. This is a very important line, and this line has lots of importance. Okay, and definitely this line come in your sometimes in your examination even. Okay, mark it down, underline it. This line in your textbook. A place on the periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it metamorphically. Okay, see, just try to understand this concept metaphorically. Okay, metaphorically. So, what is metaphorically here? Try to understand. See, Delhi is a developed city. It's a capital city of India. It's a capital of India. It's a what we can say, as Bhubaneswar was taken into that same CAD of as Delhi's and Delhi and big cities. So in that city, Simapuri is a place, and that where it is in the outskirts. Outskirts means in the boundary. Okay, and in the boundary, where a place on the periphery of Delhi means periphery means outskirts of Delhi. Okay, in the periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it metaphorically, because it's comparing with the status, the lifestyles, Delhi people is having, but Singapore is contrast. So that's why it's referring, it's miles away from it metamorphically. Okay, metaphorically. So it's a referring metaphorically, it's a comparison has been done. Delhi status is different, and the Singapore is a totally different with their status and with their living style. I hope you are able to understand this line. Those who live here are squatters. Squatters means those who move from one place to another in search of food, who came from Bangladesh in 1971. Okay, they came from Bangladesh in 1971. Saib's families among them. Okay, Saib's families among them who came from Bangladesh. Simapuri was then a wilderness, was in a dark, nothing was there. Now, was then in a wild and nothing was there, but now the same status people are just living there. There's no development. Okay, there's people are just living. There's no development. uh, you're asking to explain metaphorically again. Say it's a metaphor has been used here in the poems as it is used. Similarly, the lines are here: a place on the periphery of Delhi, means in the boundary of Delhi, yet miles away from it. Means it is not talking about the distance; it is talking about the lifestyles, how it is different from Delhi. That's why it metaphorically it's a very far away. In the Delhi, everyone is living in buildings, sophisticated life, hi-fi style lifestyle. But in Simapuri, there is no very pathetic poor condition, poverty, poverty state people, and they were in a perpetual state of poverty. Means very, very, very pathetic condition of state of poor. That condition has been described. So Delhi is, it's a very well developed city, and Simapuri is opposite to it. So that's why metaphorically has been referred here. Okay, I hope you are very clear about this idea. So now, Saif families among them, means families among them who is a squatter who has traveled from Bangladesh to Simapuri. Simapuri was then a wilderness, was in a dark, nothing was there, and still there is nothing. Just people have set up there. It is still, still in the same condition, but it is no longer empty. But it is in wilderness. There's dark. There's nothing there, and people are just staying. Structures of mud. What is this? Underline the houses built of in structure of mud with roof of tin tarpaulin. The roofs are made of tin and tarpaulin, devoid of sewage, drainage, or running water. Live 10,000 rack pickers. How many rack picker lives? 10,000 rack pickers. Okay, they have lived here for more than 30 years without an identity card. Without the identity card, they are living more than 30 years. They have lived here for more than 30 years without an identity, without permits, but with ration card. They have what? One is the basic thing, that is the ration card they have. That they get their names on voter list, and with the help of ration card, the name is coming in the voter list and enable them to buy grain, and through which they can get grain. So for them, food is important for survival than an identity. So for them, that is what is important. Food is important in compared to identity. If at the end of the day we can feed our families, go to bed without an aching stomach, we would rather live here than in the fields that gave us no grain. Okay, it is better living here instead of that. Instead of that refers to the Bangladesh Dhaka that does not give food, that does not give anything, and there they live with empty stomach. They don't get minimum things to eat and survive to keep their stomach filled. Okay, say a group of women in a tattered sari, it means torn sari. Okay, and the sari she was wearing, it is totally destroyed. It's not in a good condition. Okay, due to old and all. So when I asked them why they left their beautiful land of green and fields and river, when the narrator asked them why you left it is a beautiful field and greens, this is the reason they describe: due to the food and minimum where they get a food, they live in that same area. Okay, whenever they find food, they pitch their tents that becomes transit home. You might have seen the people with a tent, and living in the outskirts of different cities. Okay, different kind of people will be there, the outskirts, and sometimes you might have traveled in a vehicles. You might have seen the jadi buti walas. They keep their tent house and keep their small mic set up and announce take jadi butis and all. Okay, similarly, they have the transit homes. After a few days, you'll be seeing them. These people won't be sitting. They'll be sitting in some other locations, and you'll not see those people in your cities after a few months also when the seasonal change is there. So in the rainy season, they will go to different location where there will be no rain. Similarly, they move for their food. Wherever they will be getting their food, they go there, they do some kind of activities, they get food, and they keep their life running. Okay, so now children grow up in them, becoming partners in survival. And survival in Simapuri means rack picking. Okay, the survival in Simapuri means rack picking. One is able to survive in Simapuri means rack picking. Who is living in Simapuri? What they do? They do the rack picking. Means they are the rack pickers. Okay. Through the years, it has acquired the proportions of a fine art. It has become a big shape. People are living there. Garbage to them is gold. It is their daily bread, a roof over their heads, even if it is a leaking roof. But for a child, it is even more. Okay, for a child, it is even more. So we are doing it till today in the class. We are completing till page number 15. Okay, the next class we will be doing further. We'll continue further from here. So I hope in the very beginning, I'm just trying to recall whatever we have done it. Whatever doubt is there, you're not able to understand, you can just write it down in a chat box. I'll try to clear your doubt. I'm just giving a recall. In the very beginning, what we have done it, the narrator meets Sahib, who has left his place Dhaka, and he is there in the place known as Simapuri, where this narrator is observing him, his movements, and he jokingly asked about his school, and he was very much interested. But this kind of jokes are regular; it's common to them. And about his name and his lifestyle is totally different. It's a opposite. It's a contrast, and that doesn't match. And similarly, we see that they what their activities, they move to the road, they start picking up here and there, and their perpetual state of poverty has been described, has been shown with but it with what as a tradition of staying as a barefoot. Okay, so it's not a lack of money, and they have made it a tradition to stay barefoot. And then next we have seeing this condition, the perpetual state of poverty. Then it is able to recall the place known as Udipi, as in the Udipi, the depressed boy after 30 years, they are able to get a shoe and they are able to wear it, enjoy the pleasure life, but the rack pickers, they're in the same condition. And then we see the status of the rack pickers from where how many years they have shifted. From 1971, they have shifted from Bangladesh to Simapuri. What their condition? Mud house, roof of tin and tarpaulin, devoid of sewage. There's no sewage, no drainage, no running water. 10,000 rack pickers live, and they have lived here more than 30 years without an identity. More than 30 years they're living there, no identity, nothing, only a ration cards, and through which they get their name in voter ID. And then what happens to them? They're able to get something to eat, and that's the best thing what they get in Simapuri in compared to their own land, own place, and that is Bangladesh, where they are coming from. And it is better where they are able to get something. For this is the reason wherever they get food, they shift from one place to other, and they make the transit home. So living in Simapuri means rack picker. Simapuri means rack picking. Underline this statement in your textbook. Simapuri means rack picking. So this is survival in Simapuri means rack pickers. Though all are rack pickers, Simapuri refers to rack pickers. Though through the years it is acquired the proportion of finite. It has taken a big shape. So garbage to them is a gold. It is their daily bread and roof over the head, even if it is a leaking room. So till here we have done. I hope so. I have made you understand about the very initial thing of the chapter. And next class will be coming from the next page onwards. So